and welcome to Pricing College with your hosts, Aidan Campbell
and Joanna Wells.
In today's episode, we want to take almost a counterintuitive approach, and we've talked about what is value-based pricing in the past. In this instance, we're going to ask what is the polar opposite of that? What is commoditization of a product or service?
We sort of touched on that with the commodity mindset, but it'd be an interesting conversation just to unpack what that actually means in terms of, how different business leaders think.
Yeah, from my personal experience, I've worked in companies where the marketing people could talk about value all day long, but sooner or later, someone in the finance department would argue and say, no, we only sell on low price. The customers only buy on low price. And that, I suppose, they're polar opposites of the spectrum when we look at value pricing and what we're really trying to sell. If you are competing on purely low price, you're making an assumption that the product or service you're selling is literally identical to that of your competitors or of new entrants or of anybody else in the market. So, this could be true in the instance of buying a share in the stock market, where the share you're buying would be a share in Qantas or any company you want to think of. The stockbroker might give you different service or experience, but you're buying on the market, and the price you pay will be the market clearing price at that point in time. You could also think of what are very commoditized products. So we think of raw materials, things like coal, timber, oil, those sort of things. As long as they're coming from the same area, the material is chemically the same as another one, it's pretty close to being commoditized.
Yeah, and people that think in that commoditized way are thinking about it as if they are trading on the stock exchange. They're thinking about things as a sum of its parts. There's very component-based, unit-based sort of pricing thinking and logic. But equally, I would say, we can't dismiss that because there's some customers that buy in the very same way. And we call those price-sensitive customers. But on the other hand, there are customers that don't see an item as based on what it's made of. They think about the value it can give them, the problem it solves at a particular point in time. So I think, there are both perspectives can be seen on the buy side and the sell side.
I think so. I think another area that nearly everyone in the pricing profession, at least in a B2B environment, is looked at is doing tenders, where you're dealing with procurement professionals who almost are trying to shout at you that your product or service is commoditized and it's purely a rate card exercise and they want the lowest price and that they're not considering additional value. That's something many of us have gone up against, and it's trying to explain. We'll give you the example. If you're buying two apples, people always talk about apples and apples. You're comparing two apples, but if you have two apples on the table, you want to ask how fresh are both apples? Were they grown organically? Were they grown with modern chemicals? Will that apple will it be delivered to me, or will I have to go and collect that apple? Can I pay for that apple with cash, or do I have to pay for it with on credit terms? There's infinite number of things that could be slightly different about that apple. That's something that is seemingly commoditized. By the time you eat it, consume it, and enjoy it, it's a completely different experience.
And yeah, it's quite strange. You've talked about all those things that can be involved in just with buying an apple, but often they're sold based on what they look like, the features and benefits. And all of those other risk drivers is what I'd call what you were really saying, delivery, time, failure to supply, all things like that. I've really never really discussed, and potentially that's why procurement do always gravitate to unit pricing discussions.
It is, not meaning to go on and on about apples, but I do find it quite interesting. I believe in Japan there is a very common gift that people give is very aesthetically pleasing fruit. The fruit's not really designed to be eaten, but it's designed to be looked at, and it will come in a nice box and presentation gift set, which is a completely different value driver than somebody eating the apple. It's what is the product really for? Is the product or service actually the commoditized item, or is it the paraphernalia that goes with it?
Yeah, and I suppose that to summarize, that's the value in use and the value at risk principles. And you need to appeal to aesthetics, sure, value at use, Some people buy purely on that, but other people buy on the value at risk, and that they want to ensure that a certain product's going to come to them without any delay. There's not going to be any product failure, and they really want you to describe to them how you're going to do that. And that is a discussion that really does drive additional price premiums, especially with procurement.
Yeah, I think there's often a huge amount of risk in the purchase decision, and what you want to do as a smart buyer is reduce any potential risk. You go to buy like a Rolex watch, you can either go into a reputable jewelry store, buy the watch, you see the exact type it is, you'll get a guarantee, a warranty. If it breaks, you can bring back to get repaired, and it will also likely come in a beautiful gift box, all wrapped up, and it'll be presented to whoever it's going to. The alternative is you buy it from the dodgy guy in the street corner. He assures you it's fine, and you probably get it at a much reduced price. But are you really buying the same item? There's a very high chance it is the same item, like basic watch, but the paraphernalia around that you're purchasing that reduces your risk, that makes you happy. They're chalk and cheese.
So largely we buy because we want to avoid risk, as well as what the actual thing that we're buying. So this is what a good pricer will think about, what a product is when they're setting prices, but also the risk a customer is avoiding by buying that product from that business. And that really is one of the secrets of really great pricing, setting pricing on value, unpacking value in terms of value in use and value at risk.
That's it. And I think I might actually go out and buy an apple now because it is coming near lunchtime. But,
make sure you know where you've got it from and who it is.
I actually think it might take me 20 minutes or so to decide where to purchase it. So I think we'll leave it there for today.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.